This is the second work with the little Yakima horse. The Sorry, I'm back. This is the second work with the Yakima horse. The owner informed me that this is a stud, not a filly. And I do that a lot. I think I say it's a filly when it's a stud, or I say it's a stud when it's a filly. Part of the reason is I don't check under there too much. That seems weird, but I don't treat them different. I treat studs and fillies and geldings all the same, so it don't really make no difference to me. We just dance with who we took to the party and don't worry about it. So, here we are. Yesterday we got a neck rope on. We'll see how we do today. And the time that you spend here may seem like a long time, but in the great scheme of things, it's not a long time. What's an extra day in the development of one of these little boogers? Same rules apply. I'm gonna pet this thing. I'm not gonna get greedy. I'm not gonna get fast. If it touches me, or if I reach out and touch it. Remember, if I reach out and touch it, I'm in control of the pressure. If they reach out and touch me, they're in control. I'd really like it if they reached out all the time. Sometimes I have to reach out to them. What I'm doing, it's probably not on the camera. Right now I'm petting the back, petting the butt. There. Petting under the neck. Let my string down. So, if I was to get in a hurry right here, I could undo all the stuff that we got done yesterday, or I could build on it. There. 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 I'm rubbing it on the neck. Old Paint there, he's helping me some. He's not the least bit distraught, or she's not. I gotta check that closer, I guess. That's a filly, this is a stud. And if you treat studs and fillies differently, you're kind of screwing up. You want the same parameters for a stud and a filly. You don't want to be mean to a stud or a filly. You don't want to be mean to any of them. But part of the reason I'm getting this little guy gentle is so that we can go ahead and get him castrated. All that other stuff. And like I said, it's not a speed event. Every time he comes back to this spot, I just go to rubbing on him again. Remember, I'm doing things that are getting me closer and closer to the halter. There we go. Keep moving. Just keep moving. There's a little bit of a plastic sack stuck on the end of this. That don't bother him much. I'm rubbing under his chin there, rubbing over his neck. See if I can go out there and touch him now. He's a little more fired up today, but we'll get that fixed. There we go. There we go. I'm going to step up here. I touched him on the shoulder with my stick. Let's see if I can touch him on the shoulder with my hand. There. And then I'm rubbing his jaw. Yeah. Paint. So we're going to try an experiment. I'm just going to take the end of the rope and I'm going to rub him with it like I did with the stick. There you go. How you doing, Sorley? Oh, yeah. How you doing? Hi. And I'll just put this over his neck, over his back. Gonna pet him some. Get that up there. Building on what we did yesterday. I'm gonna pet him on the butt. There we go. There we go. There we go. And you still have to feel of them. Just before they kick the fire out of you, they'll tighten up. And when they tighten up, you ought not to be there. I'm just going to walk up here and just go to petting him, just like I've been doing. If you treat them like they're broke, they'll be broke. There you go. There you go. Now there's that neck rope again. I'll cross it so that I can kind of pull him to me. There. I'm going to pet him on the jaw. I need a step. There it is. Pet him on the face. Remember, I'm trying to get to the halter. Well, the halter has to go around the neck, or I'll pet underneath here. There we go. There we go. We'll see what we can do here. With these rope halters, you can see I got that tied just as long as it'll tie. And what I want to do is just put that over his nose. See if I can bring him back here a step again. There's a step right there. And I'll pet his nose with this. There. It's not a speedy vent. Whoop. They get a little bothered. They get a little bothered. There. There. I don't want to chase them. Don't want to scare them. There. 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 And we'll just keep rubbing and holding. Rubbing and holding. There you go. I want to bring him back to me. We don't want to chase them. So if they're pulling back, we just want to kind of hold them the best we can. Now we'll go back to rubbing his nose again. There we go. Easy there, kid. Easy, kid. I'll try to get that rope out of the way. There we go. I got a little greedy. No big deal. Don't panic, they won't. What I was trying to get that halter up over an ear. If I can get it over an ear, then I can catch the nose. And after I catch the nose, I can flip the other side over the other ear. I think this colt probably got away once. Well, I'll just rub him here some more. There we go. We know we got a starting spot established. Our stick helped us do that. I'll go back here and rub him some more. There we go. There we go. We got the neck rope on him again. Cross that under his neck. Bring him up. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try another little trick. I'm going to untie the halter. There we go. And I'm just going to rub him upside the head here. I like these stiff rope halters because the ropes hold their shape. And it really helps me do this kind of stuff. And we're still going up over the front. There we go. There we go. We're just rubbing his face. He's talking to old paint. There we go. And I'm going to rub up the side of his neck here. There we go. Don't want to let him nibble on you. I'll step him over here a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just going to go up alongside his head here. Flip that rope over his neck. Well, like I said, it's not a speedy vet. You got to get used to being touched here. Back up to his face. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. We're just rubbing. Bend that up. He doesn't get to leave. There. And I'll rub that side again. There we go. Another way to do it. We're going to find the way that's easiest for this colt to figure out. Get yourself in an awkward position. You're going to have to pay the price eventually. Right there, he's sniffing at me. But if he gets frustrated, he could bite me. There. There we go. Remember, we've been touching his nose a little bit. Yeah. So get this good and loose. And we'll slip that up over his nose. Hold on to that neck rope. Just hold. There. Good boy. No worries. Just don't panic. Just don't panic. There we go. And if you let him know it ain't no big deal, it won't be a big deal. There. There we go. And so there's 2 or 3 ways we can get this around his head. And you just keep farting around, and eventually you'll have all of his head touched, and this won't bother him a lot. You need to step this way. I gotta hold him there. Rub that jaw. Now you can do this with a stick too. You can tie this halter to the stick and slip it over his head. I'm just seeing if I can do it with my hands. I'm gonna rub that neck again. Have him step forward, cross them ropes under his neck. There you go, pet him. Let him chill for a second. There you go. There you go. And as long as you don't get worried or freaked out, he'll relax into this. He'll relax right into it. There we go. Try to keep yourself organized. There. There you go, kid. I'm gonna rub that face a little bit. So I suspect that this horse had a little trouble. And part of my job out here is to prove to them that whatever experiences they may have had, we'll be all right. Now I'm going to go back and stick this through here again. And we'll go back to the first method. Letting him rest at the same time. Just letting him detox, letting him rest. There. There we go. There we go. There we go. There. Yeah. Have you step back up. Getting softer. Good. There. There. Rub that jaw. There we go. There we go. Back up here again. And all I'm doing is just hanging in there. Every one of these little things, most of the time, this goes textbook. Sometimes it don't. And even if it don't, if you get him okay, so we tried that 2 or 3 times. So here's what we're going to do now. You tie your halter shut. We're not going that fast with him, but it's just more than he can bear. So now I'm going to put this rope through this halter. Remember, I was rubbing his neck the other day. Yeah. There we go. Okay, now I've got the halter, and I got a neck rope on him. It's okay to put a rope around their necks like this. What it's not okay is to choke them. Every time he leaves now, I've got a secure means of bringing him back. And we're going to teach him to stand here and let me rub this other side of his head. That seems to be a problem for him. There you go. There you go. You can see how that knot on this rope hooks into that top of that halter. There we go. Now we'll go back and take this off. Push that halter over, keep a hold of the tail. There we go. Now I'll hook this. Just don't let him bite you. As small as I can get this, as big as I can get it, I mean. There. Now we can hold him and slip this over his nose. Bring that up by his ears, slip that over his nose. Now I'm going to hold him the best I can. I bring him back. And if we have a few failed attempts, that's okay. It's just making his face better. Yeah. There we go. Pet that jaw. Well, we'll just do it again. There. And take your time, but don't go so slow that you lose him. You're kind of at the point of no return here. And we'll tighten this up where it fits him a little bit better. Now I want to bring him to me. All them places where that rope's touching him. Now you see, if I was making these videos to make me look good, that's the wrong reason for making these videos. The way I see it, you make these videos to make the horse successful. And whatever you see me do is going to end up making the horse successful. I'm not going to resort to violence, but I am not going to just, try to make you believe that working with these kind of horses, these troubled ones, is all rainbows and lollipops, because it ain't. You have got to be flexible. Now I want to ask you to step forward off this halter. There. Now I'm going to try to use two hands. All the time working that halter up to be tight. Didn't have to be done instantly. There was a couple of times in here where I was in a bad position. I'm not saying that you should, but if you're so worried about being in a bad position, like right there when he spun around and his hindquarters are right next to me, I have to depend upon my ability to read these things. If I'd have let him go, he'd have just learned a way to get away from me by spinning to the right. And if I'd have let that rope go, we couldn't have got him better. Now this side of his head's a problem, so we're going to pet a bunch over here. Tomorrow, when I halter him, I want it to be easier. Yeah. I still don't like it. It's not quite tight enough yet. I'm going to walk up here and rub that jaw. Cinch this up just a little. Rub that jaw. Keep my hand out of his mouth. A little better. But the end result was the halter's on him, and we didn't run him around in here and run him around in here and run him around in here. The stick was pushing him past threshold, and I reached a point of diminishing returns on that stick where I kept using it, but it wasn't getting better, and he wasn't letting me over here on this side. Well, that was just going to get him all amped up. That was going to make our job harder. Now I'm going to go back to the stick, because the stick's an important part of the program. I'm going to go back to the stick, and I'm going to rub this side of his head. I'm going to rub that jaw. I have the ability to hold him now. There. 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 Rub that neck. So we had to add an extra step in here because of who he is. Simple as that. You have to dance with who you took to the party, and not every horse is going to go like the tape or the video that you saw on TV. There's actually going to be colts that get mad at you and go to kicking at you and trying to run over you. Well, you got to read them. But if you think that you can hang in there to get a horse better, you need to hang in there. This side of him, he's just real touchy about this side. But now that I have the halter on his head, we can help him with that. What I want to practice doing, this would have been my first choice to catching this horse. Yesterday you saw me do it, and the end of my stick came off. But that happens. I'm just going to rub him here till I can rub up his ear. I'm going to hold him. He has to look at me. I'm going to rub up here till I can rub over his ear. It's no big deal. But I have to have that to halter him. I'm not going to chase him. I'm not going to pull on him. I can hold him though. So, we're going to practice rubbing that face. We'll hold him and rub that face. There. Don't take that away. Now I'm gonna rub his face. He has to look at me. That's his reward for looking at me as I rub his face. At least for right now. Every time he looks away, I ain't gonna do anything except have him look at me and relax. There. See? It can be done. That's what I'm trying to say to him, is this is okay, man. And a lot of my clients, if I couldn't catch this horse except by roping him, a lot of the people that bring horses to me, I've had several horses brought to me that somebody tried to rope him and they made a mess of it. He doesn't get to leave. And we're just going to keep doing this until he lets me rub him between the ears. There, I'll just let that sit. Now I'll go back to rubbing him again. My goal is to rub him between the ears. There, let him sit. Let him sit. You don't have to take the stick clear off of him. When he goes back to being bothered, I try to start at the bottom and work my way back up. And I try to find as many places as I can where I can get soft. He's ducking and diving because of that ear. It's all right. We'll prove to him that that ear can be touched. And we'll prove it to him by letting him figure it out. We'll try going up this side. Let's rub here. Remember yesterday we were kind of letting him present whichever side. Well, today I'm equal opportunity. They got to get better every day, or there's a flaw in your program. As long as they're getting better every day, you're doing great. Whatever it is you're doing, as long as they're getting better every day. Now, he needs to be a little better about his head today before we quit him. And that's what he's going to have to do. I'm not being mean. He has to get better every day. That's his job. Somebody has to run the outfit. You don't have to be a tyrant to run the outfit. I'll rub that face some more. I want him to stand still there. And I'll let him have a break. He walked back into it, so I guess he didn't want a break. And you can see my stick and my string are kind of separated. There's a reason for that. I want to touch him in more than one spot on his face. Horses can only think of one thing at a time. So when I've got the string here, and the rope there, and the stick there, he's only able to focus on one of those things at a time. So I'm going to drop the string. There. A little spot there he didn't like. It's all right. We'll just try to get back to it. And if you think you're going to get this horse to where he's better about his head by ignoring this, to be honest, you're never going to get it fixed. It's just not going to happen. You're going to go through a little bit of anxiety. I don't want it to be because of violence, but I want you to think about this logically. I am not hurting him, petting him on the face. If it's not hurting him, his job is to relax and trust me. How am I going to teach him to trust me? By not hurting him. Well, I don't want to hurt him. But if I want to pet his face, I ought to be able to. There's nothing, that's not rude, that's not hardcore, that's not evil. I'm going to rub up here. Now I got a rope around his neck. And I'm going to pull this way. I'm going to pet his nose, and I'm going to start over. There's going to be effort involved in getting this little guy gentle. It's not going to be effort from punishing him either. The effort's going to be educating the ignorance and rewarding the slightest try. See me rubbing his ear right there? He doesn't have to like it in the beginning. He has to tolerate it. If he tolerates it, pretty quick he will grow to like it, because that doesn't feel bad, rubbing that ear. That's not evil. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to go put that string over his neck again. And one of these days, that's going to be my hand. Just like that, almost. Now, why didn't I go back to my hand and make him like that? Because me being so close to him adds a lot of pressure into the equation. If I can take this stick up over the side of his head and drop that string down there, he'll get more and more practiced at being touched over there. The more practice he has at being touched over there, the easier it will get for him. That's the way things work. You practice good things, you get good at doing good things. And all I want him to do is just relax. I ain't hurting him. There, rub that ear a little more. A little more, up over the top, and bring it back down. We're preparing him for the halter. There, good boy. Licking and chewing, he's starting to process that. He didn't have to make it a big deal because it wasn't a big deal. And I'm not going to make it a big deal. If I don't make it a big deal, it shouldn't be a big deal. Now I'm going to do this again, see where we're at, pet that eye. With me being closer, it's a bigger problem for him. Now remember, I can hold, I just can't pull. As long as my feet are not moving, I'm just holding. And there, I touch the ear. Yeah, touch that ear. Pet him on the face, rub his eyes. I'm actually going to put my thumb in his mouth. When the tongue wakes up, I take it out. Now we're going to practice again. I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to rub that jaw. I'm going to rub that head. I'm going to keep rubbing that till that's a little bit better. There. 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 And it's not about dominating him. I want to prove to him that he can be trusted, that I can be trusted, and that if I do something with him, it's no big deal. Remember, they don't have to do anything except get better every day. And sometimes you're going to be out of the safe position. If you can read your horses, the best way in the world to learn how to read horses is to make a few mistakes. But if I'd have got violent with him over there when he wheeled away, it would have just scared him. I would have had to went through the fist fight. I didn't want to go through the fist fight. I didn't want him to have to go through the fist fight. Because I would have won that too. But tomorrow when he saw me coming, he would remember the fist fight. When he sees me coming tomorrow, I want him to remember that I didn't hurt him. And he got some things done with him that he didn't think were possible. I'll pull this rope off again. Now let's go over here. Now I'm way far away from him. I'll go up over his head. There. Now I'll just scratch behind his ears again. Rub under his neck. Rub his jaw. And it ain't always going to be pretty like the videos. Sometimes it's going to be real. Well, if you're going to work with these horses, you better get used to real, because they don't know how to lie. All they know how to do is tell you, hey man, that bothers me. And then it's your job to say, hey, you don't need to be bothered. I must let that sit there because that really kind of irritates him. And I'm not trying to torture him, but when he settles down right there, and he will, we'll just let it sit there. See his head drop a little bit? Notice that stuff. Take that up over his ears and drop it. There. And I'm getting more and more nonchalant about it. I'm not sneaking around him like a coyote with a chicken bone stuck in his mouth. I'm trusting him. I'm trusting him to not hurt me. My responsibility is he needs to learn to trust me that I won't hurt him. That's coexistence. And that's what we're trying to teach, is coexistence. Now I'm going to pull that down a little bit more and rub that forelock. We'll see what his head does. There. Drop down, and I'll pull that rope off. I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I'm 70 years old and I still have value to the horses. Pretty lucky. And I have the ability to do one thing and take all day doing it. It took me a long time to learn that. There. I'm going to go up over his ear again. There. The tape's got that. I'm probably rubbing most of his ear. I'm going to get past that ear, like that. Get this other ear. Now I'm going to let that sit and rub his forelock. When he drops his head, I might just take it off that way. So we got him, there's a spot right above his pole that bothers him. And it isn't necessarily touching him, it's right there. I'm gonna let him drop his head. When he drops his head, that's gonna go away. Now I'm gonna go up here again. I'm holding, he's concerned. When he drops his head, licking and chewing, I'll take that away. I'm just going to do this a couple of thousand times. When I go up above his head, I want him to drop his head. When he drops it, I take it away. All of these things that I'm showing you will probably only work on this horse. Every horse is different. But I'm finding little things that I can help in different ways that I may or may not have done in years. That's above his head. I want him to relax. I'm going to take that over there and drop it. Instead of taking that back and forth above his head and causing him to panic and lift his head and run backwards, I'll teach it to him in little bites that he can handle. I'm waiting for him to drop his head and relax just a little bit. But now I'm moving it. I'm looking for just a little bit of relax. That was a little bit. I'm going to pet his nose again. Good boy. I'm going to go up here again. I want him to drop his head. You can see I'm not pulling him. He dropped his head. I took it away. Back and forth. Now I'm going to rub this forehead. Now he's pulling on me, so I'm just going to hold him. I'm going to rub this forelock till he drops his head. He did a little bit. Good enough. We'll do it again. Waiting for him to relax. There, he did it again. Waiting for him to relax. There. Now could I go up over the top of his head and back down? It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. He didn't raise his head clear up to the barn rafters. I'll rub that forelock. Hold it there. I'm just setting it there. Want him to drop his head. Big breath. We'll take that away. When they let out a big breath, well, it makes me smile. Now I'd like to go up over his head again without him. There. There. Go up over his head. We'll go up over his head. And I'm intentionally leaving that rope loose. Now it's right there. He dropped his head. I took it away. He's up. He dropped his head. I'll take it away. These are little things that you might miss, and you might get a little frustrated. All you got to remember is if what you're doing ain't making it better, you need to do something else. It's real simple. Just do something else. Think something weird, like hold that stick up there. I want him to drop his head. I'd like for him to straighten his head out when he dropped it. I want the concern to go away. There, he dropped it. I'll walk up here and pet him. Ask him for a forward step. Make sure he's not frozen. There we go. If they freeze up, that's not a good thing either. You don't want to freeze them up. I'm going to hold this up here. I'm looking for him to relax and drop his head. And if his head's hanging straight when he does that, that's even better. I want to see if I can pet him on the ear from this side. I'm holding, but I ain't pulling. That's really important. Now I'm going to walk up here, pet him on this side. Come up here, I want to touch him here. I'm holding, you can see what I'm doing. His head straight and it relaxed. My hand's there now. It's not the stick. When he drops his head, I'll take that hand away. All these things, we're working with his mind. If he's in the right frame of mind, he'll trust you. And I do want to, sometimes, like I said earlier, I was informed by the owner that this was a stud and not a filly. And to be honest with you, I really don't care. So I never check. I never look. I never pay no attention. I could go back and look on this horse's paperwork. I got files on every horse that's ever been here. And say, oh, that's a stud. When I make that video, I'll make damn sure I say it's a stud. Well, I don't care because I treat them all the same. We work on what we need to work on when we need to work on it. And it don't make no difference to me whether it's a stud, a gelding, or a mare. Now he's raising his head. I got my hand on his neck. When he drops that just a little, I'll pet him just a little bit. I'm rubbing him, rubbing him. I'm on top of his pole now. I might want to clip a bridle path on him someday. Now I'm just going to sit here and wait. I don't want him to bump me. I'm going to wait till he drops his head. There, he did, and I took my hand away. Now I'll rub him over here. Now I'll grab the halter and wiggle it around. I'll put my hand above his head. I'm rocking it there. Sometimes I'll hold it right there and I'll rock that muscle. Rub that jaw. There's my halter knot. There's my pole. He lifted his head. That's an incorrect response. But all I'm going to do is just hang in here until he drops his head. Kind of massaging between his ears. There. And take it away. Rub his eye. Rub that other eye. See how he's pulling away from me when I go on the other side? We'll just wait. When he comes back to me, I'll take it away. Incorrect responses. If you work on little tiny incorrect responses, pretty quick every response will be correct. And you never got mad, and you never got in a fist fight with them. And you never got hurt. You never hurt your horse. I'll rub his neck. I'll rub up here. I'll go up here again. Wait for him. Massage his neck. Get a little closer. There. Take it away. Now, one more thing that we're going to do with him before we quit is I want to get over here and do this with my left hand on this side. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of it, but it's just going to be a mirror image. Good. It's going to be a mirror image of what I did on the other side. I'm rubbing his jaw right there and I'm holding him. Now I'm rubbing his jaw. I'm holding him. And here I am, I'm holding him, but I was holding his nose away from me because I wanted him to let me in over there, but I didn't want to get my belly bit. There. Rub that jaw. There. There. I hope you can see that. I'll just move him over here so you can. Left front foot. There. When I got the correct foot, I quit pulling. There. I'm holding now. I'm rubbing. I want him to take that pressure off on his own. There. There. Rub that jaw a lot. My finger in his halter. Touch my thumb in his mouth. When those lips come open, take the thumb out. I'm going to ask him to come back. Go up here and rub his face. There. It's getting better. There. It's getting better. Hold at an angle to keep you safe and to let him know that he can't leave. You just hold him though. There. 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 I'll rub down here. And I put my thumb in his mouth again. When he opens his mouth, I take my thumb out. I'll bring him back. Rub. There. Up. More than he can bear. There. There. Rub that jaw. Rub that eye. There. There. Rub that nose. There. Thumbs in his mouth. He didn't move his feet. He did move his body, but he moved his head and his neck, but he never moved his feet. Notice those changes, because this is the response I want. Well, I didn't want him to back up. I want to rub that jaw, rub that face, and this ain't evil. He's going to have his face touched 1,000,000 times. Fingers right there. When he opens his mouth or moves his tongue, I'll take it out. There. He opened his mouth and let my finger in further. Rub this eye, remember? Rub those ears. So I'm going to rub his ears. Because I'm going to rub his ears. I'm going to rub him here. Big breath. I'll rub his ears and rub his neck. I'll go back here again. I'll rub his head. There. I'm going to rub his ears and go on his neck. He got smaller. It's getting better. There. Now I want him to drop his head. There. Rub that jaw. Now we're going to rub his nose again. Rub his face, rub his ears, rub his neck. I'm going to go back over here on this side. Rub his face, rub his head, rub his ears. He didn't like that. Well, that's all right. It's his right. He doesn't have to like it in the beginning. He just has to tolerate it, remember? There. And I want to be on this side. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm holding him out there so that I can get over here and prove to him that he can relax. There. There we go. There we go. Bend him. Well, there's an example of, there was a couple of times there where I was in a bad place. But if I would have let go of him, he would have learned another way to get away. He doesn't want me over here on this side. We got to spend much more time over here on this side. So after we've already showed him that if he looks at us, pressure will go away. There. There. Sometimes it's just more than they can bear. But if I'd have let go of this rope when he did that, he would have learned to swing away from me and get away. I don't want him to learn that. He probably already knows how. There. There. And I'm going to step in here and move his left front foot again. There. And I'm going to come over here and pet him. There. And most of the time, if they have a place to get away, they'll take that as their first choice. And they'd rather get away than fight. I don't blame them. There, 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 there. And so we'll chip away at this left side, and we'll chip away at this area right here, and we'll chip away at this area above his head. I'm just holding him. There. Don't pull him. Let him drop and relax. There. 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 And pet him. And we'll chip away at that stuff. We got lots of time. I hope that helps. I think the little stud's better than he was.